All right, welcome into another episode of the Power Hour. I am Steve, along with the urban sensation C-Red. Rion Skills will be joining us at some point this evening as he is traversing the multiverse somewhere. Cactus will be off tonight. She's loaning us her betrothed, Daddy Andy, or whatever his goat. What's your
handsome rogue?
No, you are not a handsome rogue. I remember we addressed that last week, but that's neither here nor there. So we'll welcome Andy as part of the panel tonight. And I'm excited. Oh, and PX still unconscious from his attack from Muggsy James this past Sunday at IPW, but we'll talk about that later. Tonight we're very excited. We're very happy to have these extraordinary gentlemen on this show. The Fantastic League of Wrestling. If you'd been to the Indiana Beach show, there was a Special Olympic show, you know the momentum these guys have on their side right now. So it's great to have them here to kind of get a feel for what they're trying to do. So I'll introduce each one of them. We've got friend of the show since the day the show started, the Honorable John Bullard. Hello, Judge.
Well, hello there, Steve, C-Red, and the rest of the guys. It is good to be back on the show. It's been a little while, but it's good to be back, my friend.
Well, you've got a lot on your plate, so I'm happy you're giving us
I
a
do.
few scoops. We appreciate your time. And of course, we have Shawn Porter. Hello, Shawn. Nice to see you.
It's a pleasure to meet you guys, and it's an absolute blast to be here to talk about Flow.
I can't wait to talk about it. We're going to get right in this. And then we have our new friend, Ethan. Hello, Ethan. How are you, sir?
Hello. Thank you, gentlemen, for having me. Shawn, it looks like you're sequestered in a basement somewhere. You doing okay? Okay.
Like
just worried about you a little bit.
In my basement because it's a bit cooler, so I have everything in my basement. You should see the wrestling library I've got to my right here when I peruse. It's a sight to be seen for sure.
He's a reverse Mankind, where Mankind was in a boiler room, Shawn's in the
pretty much. Yep.
Yes, thank you for having me.
Well, it's a pleasure to have you, and we can't wait to talk to you about what you're going to talk about tonight. And then there's the good kid, Eric Rowan. No, I'm just kidding. It's Scott. Hello, Scott.
Hello. And real quick, Shawn, blink twice if you're okay.
That's fair. We could be right in the middle of a hostage situation. Where are Riggs and Murtaugh when we need them?
He has a whole little sign holding up.
Neither here nor there.
Donate
All right,
money.
fellas, let's get right to it. Fantastic League of Wrestling. For those that don't know what this is, tell them what this is.
Well, I feel like this is part me and part Shawn, because this was actually Shawn's idea. But to basically sum it up, if you love professional wrestling, comic books, and video games, if you like TV shows from the 1980s to the 1990s, we're that promotion for you. Pretty much, I tell people the best way I describe it, definitely when I talk to event coordinators, when I talk to people who run venues, we're a live action comic book come to life. If you like 1980s WWF with the larger than life characters, but you also love high flying lucha libre, you like different wrestling styles, but is also a good family friendly show. I want to be family friendly. I don't mean like it's so mundane and boring. It's like, okay, one of these shows. It's one of those where we do fan participation. We find ways to get our audience involved. We find ways to make the audience become part of the show. And we find a way to make everyone, when the time they walk out of that venue, and this has already happened to us twice already, in all of our 2 shows that we ran so far. We've had fans literally come back to the venue owner, and also venue owners come back to us and say, please come back for what we're doing. I mean, I want to give it over to Shawn real quick.
Yeah.
Shawn Porter, this was his baby right along with me on this, but he's the guy who created the word flow.
So I'll tell you the origin story of this. So I do a lot of traveling between refereeing and directing and videography and a lot, and I've been to many different kind of promotions, both professional, unprofessional, every level you can think of. I've been there, and I was in the basement with another referee friend of mine, and we were talking, and I just was like, man, I want to create a show where you can take your kids and not have to worry about anything, and just for an hour or two just get lost in the action. You don't necessarily have to be the biggest wrestling fan. You don't even have to know a lot about wrestling, but you can come everything is clear cut and dry. You know who it's a good guy versus a bad guy, or a good girl versus a bad girl, or both, because like I told John, Wonder Woman kicked Lex Luthor's ass. So by all means, I think any woman can kick any man's ass. And I know Ethan will be able to tell you more about that with Divine and the all women's promotion he's got going on. But we were sitting there and we were just trying to think of a name. And I was just like, what would be a fun name to get things going? And we were kicking around multiple different kind of funny innuendos and whatnot. And my buddy looked at me and he just goes, what if you called it the Fantastic League of Wrestling? And I sat there for a minute and he looked at me and he goes, I want you to go with the flow. And as soon as he said that, that clicked in my head and I was like, that's genius. Because you could tell that to anybody. And when you ask like what is the show? What is it? Just go with the flow, because it literally is that simple of a brainchild. And it warms me that we can bring it to life and be a beacon for kids to watch and just get mesmerized. Because when I was a kid, I'm 24 and I'm really young, but for me, it was seeing guys like Undertaker and Batista and Rey Mysterio, just these people that were either larger than life or underdogs to the nines that just drew you in by their physical aura, by their character work. Jeff Hardy was a super big just because he painted his face. I was like, how flipping cool is that? And like I personally feel a lot of that is lost in today's wrestling, especially at the local level. A lot of people just want to wrestle, and I get that. Everybody loves wrestling, but I want to attract people beyond the scope of professional wrestling. And I want you to take your kids and they go, "Mom, Dad, that was awesome." And then the parents are going, "Wow, that was a really fun day with my
Yep.
kids." And that's been my biggest thing, because I've heard so many people leave a wrestling show and go, "Oh, that was too long," or "Oh man, that was kind of a waste of money." And it's like, I just want people to have fun. And the fact that John shares that with me, and these last two shows we've done have been nothing but some of the most fun shows I've ever been a part of, just speaks volumes. And I'm so excited to see where this can go going forward.
That is that's high praise, because you know, we all have seen what John Bullard has been able to do through the years, whether it be down south or whether it be here Chicago or Northwest Indiana for that matter as well. So the Fantastic League also features a partnership with a women's promotion, which is where Ethan comes in. Ethan, I'm fascinated by that because I'm a big fan of women's wrestling, because we have so much good women's wrestling in Chicago. My home promotion, Chicago style wrestling, I think I would put their women's division up against anybody. So I'm interested to hear what you guys are doing and who you're doing it with, because I'm that's where the money is for me right now. I think, you know, whether you look at it, I mean, people look at women's wrestling in many different ways. I look at it as it's no longer a boys' club. Anybody can fight anybody anytime. And some of the women matches out, you know, we have several events where the women outdo the men and it's not even close. The banger quotient is off the chart. So talk to me a little bit about what you're doing.
So first I want to say thank you to Shawn and John. There's been a lot of you know, connecting theories on how a promotion should run. And I feel like there's a lot of synergy between the group of us and Scott that understand. I think the mindset behind how Flow should be run and how Divine should be run is very similar. Maybe not 100% the same, but that's okay. You want different ideas to come from different things. Myself, however, I am just a steward to bring this in to bring a platform for all of the ladies that I have, you know, that I'm able to book, that I hope to book in the future. The promotion is not just myself. Well, I might be supplying the money to it. I have a group of people behind it, men and women behind the scenes, doing fantastic things, along with absolutely beautiful, like design systems and just mindsets behind everything. I'm trying to put into words because this is the first time I've been able to speak about this. I'll talk a little bit about the prevailing theory behind how Flow runs or Divine runs in just a minute. But the partnership with Flow, if John and Scott and Shawn are okay, I'd like to announce the first match of this partnership between
Absolutely.
this.
Yeah, of
So
course.
we are actually going to cross paths. A goal of this partnership is to bring that Northwest Indiana, Chicago, like pedigree of women wrestlers and have them meet the, I guess, Northwest Ohio, Michigan, what we have going on over here. So actually our first match that will be on the Flow show on August 31st is going to be the Divine Women's Champion, Stella Buho, the Guardian Angel, taking on Leslie Michelle out of the Chicago area. And I apologize, I'm a little under the weather right now. But I'm very excited for this. Our Guardian Owl, our champion, I feel fits the Flow motive or motif to a T. John talked about Chikara earlier, and that really is to me what it means. Like when you go to a wrestling event, to be able to have that level of energy, that level of entertainment, and you can take anybody to that show and set them down in the front row, and they're going to have a good time, whether they are a wrestling fan or not, because it goes just beyond the action in the ring. There's entertainment, but there's also the action. There's something for everybody, and that's really what we're working towards.
That's a
And
hell
as
of a
as
thing.
Shawn said too, I guess a little breaking news on that is that on our next event, August 31st, we was asked by demand by the entire audience at the show to the point that the owner was in Chicago, not at Indiana Beach. He was only in Chicago. And people in his front office called him and said, we need them back ASAP. And on August 31st, Flo and Divine combines forces to present Clash at the Beach at Indiana Beach Theme Park in beautiful Monticello, Indiana. If you guys never been there, it is a really cool amusement park. Very old world when you walk into it. But our very first show that we ran there was sold out. It was complete wall to wall, no chairs left, standing room only crowd. And I'm excited for this because we're presenting some real top level matchups with the talent of Flow, but we're also working with Ethan to showcase, in my opinion, probably two of the best up and coming female talents in the country. Estella is amazing. She does this owl gimmick with a mask and everything. She's really, really good. Good luchadora. But also Leslie Michelle is someone that I'm very near and dear to. And I've watched her kind of grow up in wrestling. I remember she was like 16, 17, watch her in Gali. But now getting the chance to see her come to both Flow and Divine and showcase what she can do against someone who is just as good at Lucha Libre. And to see them both kill it, which when Ethan gave me that match, Ethan's like, what do you think? I told Ethan straight up, I was like, I feel bad for any guy that has to follow that match because those two young ladies, they go to war every single time they're in that ring. And it will be that match is a certified banger. I think it's okay for an old guy to say that word. So
I think
that's certified banger.
okay. And Steve, you had spoke earlier about like intergender wrestling and stuff, and that's awesome. And I know that the majority of my roster, if not all of my roster, is 100% on board with that. But the kind of like the goal behind Divine was that in specifically the Southeast Michigan area, we have Shawn, what is it, like 16 promotions that run in this area, like
Give or
regularly.
take, yeah. Give or take.
And I would say of the 16 promotions, you probably get one women's match per card. And it does happen in other places where it tends to be a lot of the repeat matches. You have the same cyclical five matches. And I'm friends with a lot of the workers. And so when the availability was there for us to acquire Divine, we wanted to take an opportunity and grow this into something bigger, to be able to, I'll admit it, to like showcase our friends to the world, but also to like bring people in and show them that we care with something. Like my theory behind running a promotion is I've heard people say, well, if you're not in it for the money, then you're in it for the wrong thing. And I highly disagree with that. Sure, it'd be cool if people make money in the long run and if it helps people get to a position, but I want to create a space where I can or where this talent can grow. They can try new things that they might be afraid to try other places, try characters out. I want it to be a safe place for them to come and work, and I want it to be a place that like they can invest in. Not to like go off topic, but I'm a big NFL fan, and my team in my area is the Detroit Lions, and forever they were bottom feeders. They have a new, they've got a new coach 3 years ago, and the big thing there is grit and buy-in, and that's really what I'm preaching with the ladies that we have coming in is, if you buy into me, like I've already bought into you by wanting to bring you into this. And if you buy into me, we're going to go places. We're going to make this happen. Like, believe in me as much as I believe in you. And I think that this is going to be a wonderful partnership. And the sky's the limit with it, really. I don't know how much you want me to say about the show that's taking place after that. But
this is your time, and we want you to. The whole point of what C-Red, Rion, Pat, and Cactus and I do is we want people to come on this show and give the people that watch it an idea of what they're doing and why they're doing it. So when you see Flow on social media, you saw these guys talking about it. You know what it's about. So if you're like, my God, that Ethan guy said some really cool things about Divine, and now they're working with Flow. Indiana Beach is not too far from me. Let's go check that out. All we're doing is we're trying to put over the people that deserve to be put over. And, we've been working with John a long time. And when John, messaged me and said, hey, we'd love to come on the Power Hour and talk to you guys about it. I, have been wanting to have John back for a while, but John's very busy. John's going to be a dad soon. So I was not assuming John had disposable time, but when the opportunity presented itself, we jumped at it immediately and we moved some things around so we could get this done, because I wanted to talk to you about how you came together and what you're doing. And it really resonates with me when you talked about football and the Detroit Lions and grit and buy-in, because we do something similar here in Chicago, but we refer to it as disappointment and desperation.
I was there for years and years and years, so I understand it. The coming together with John, we had mutual friends on Facebook. I made some post about not being happy in my professional life, and this is kind of peeling back the curtain on how I met John. He had added me on Facebook, and it spiraled down, and now I would say we've had a couple of interviews over on my podcast on a forklift, cheap plug. And then we talk probably every other day, at least a couple of times weekly about it. And he talked a lot about John Bullard Productions, and we talked about a lot of the art of promoting, and really what it means to be like this shepherd for the wrestling industry, being able to give people a place to work, a place to showcase their talents, which I think is really important. I know Shawn's a ref. I train to wrestle. I have so much more fun setting this stuff up and being the person to give them a spot to wrestle than I do actually being in the ring anymore. I could never set foot between those ropes again, and I would be just as happy as I am right now doing this. So it's just through the conversations, we realized that our ideals lined up with what we want. Divine is what I classify as a PG plus women's show. You're going to hear the occasional shit, damn, hell. That's about it. Anything that you could get away with on TV, you're going to see. But our theory behind this is superheroes. It ties in directly with Flow. We want the ladies to be superheroes to who comes to the show. I'm gearing a lot of the advertising and marketing towards kids. I want kids at the show. They are loud. They keep the crowd into it. They are exciting. And I've adopted John's theory of 5 matches a show. I want to keep this thing down to like an hour and a half show so you can come on a Friday night and still be able to go out and get dinner on your way home.
We try to do 5 to 7 matches at best. This Indiana Beach show will probably have 7 matches because the owner wants to be like a super show, which is
Right.
7 matches still. You can still get home, 2
No.
hour time limit and still be plenty of energy and ready to go.
Oh yeah, you run into this problem where you end up and see these shows with like 14 matches on the card. Not to root out a certain three letter organization that's on television, but when you have these shows that run, this isn't Shimmer. I'm not running a 6 hour show. We're not starting at 4 p.m. and running until 10 at night. I want to book matches that people want to come and see, and I don't want to do everything right away. I want to create special opportunities. Speaking of the show, we have a show, Season of Change. It is taking place almost exactly 1 week after the Flow show. It is on Friday, September 6th. And my main event of that show could change at the Flow show. I don't know, because currently it is the Divine Champion. It is currently Stella Buho, and Heather Blue, taking on Billy Starks in a triple threat match. But if Leslie Michelle wins the belt, I'm gonna have to, Leslie's gonna have to come up here and defend that. So, it's a big thing for me. It's a big thing for all of the ladies. I know when I let them know that we were making that available to them, Billy Starks was going to be on the show. There was this instant like, oh, we all have to step it up now. Like, we've essentially put somebody that they idolize, and I do as well, because I mean what she's accomplished at such a young age is phenomenal.
Yeah, Billy is an absolute force of nature.
Yeah. That is the best way to put it. There is no one, I don't think there's anyone on the independent scene or that thing, that realm, on that level. And so I saw the fire grow in their eyes. I have other fantastic talent on this show. Ray Larson is facing Storm Garcon from Indiana. We have a lot of Indiana talent actually coming up for this show, but yeah, Ray Larson is facing Storm Garcon. Leela Feist and Carter Kaufman out of the Indianapolis area are both coming up. They're taking on Juniper Gates in a match with a partner yet to be determined. We have a match that is homegrown here. Shawn knows both of these ladies, Ricky Morris and Rory Shield. They have a grudge match. There's a feud that is spanning promotions right now. These two are just absolutely going at each other, a la the old Midnight Express stuff, when those guys are going, didn't matter what promotion it was, but then, Rock and Roll Express, Midnight, they were all going at each other. And then the last match is another Indiana worker, Kenzie Black, is taking on the hometown girl, Leela Hall, she's from the same town that the show is emanating from.
And the biggest thing is, like, at the end of the day, we're just trying to be beacons for people of all ages to get lost in wrestling. With us, we want to attract kids and families. And with Ethan, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure I'm right by saying this, it gives women a chance to showcase their talents without the worry, without the hassle. This is purely you deserve this opportunity. And all Ethan wants to do is give them a platform to grow and showcase it to the nines. Because just like Shimmer and Shine and all the all women's promotions before it, the women do not get showcased enough, and they deserve it. And the fact that now we have this on both a Flow and Divine platform to, no pun intended, give them a bigger grand scope to showcase, it's just so nice that we're all on the same page, that we just want wrestling to be fun, and we want it to grow, and we want these people to grow as well. And it's not just a brand thing. I hope that people can go on from Flow or from Divine and say, hey, I got to do these cool things here, which allowed me to go to bigger and better places. And that's all we could ever hope for.
Speaking of growth and growing, Scott Jones, that beard is magnificent.
Guilty. I was actually talked into entering the National Beard and Mustache Competition on November 2nd in Everett, Washington, where I grew up. So absolutely. So I'm actually going to fly out there and do that this year.
Awesome.
Heck yeah, man.
God bless America, a beard competition.
I want to say this too. Scott Jones is a major part of Flow, and Scott deserves a lot of roses that people don't understand. This guy does so much for the independent wrestling scene in the Midwest, and never tries to get glory or never take any credibility away from anybody. But he's that 5-tool player. If you need a commentator, he can do it. Ring announcer, he can do it. I guarantee he could put on the stripes and ref, manage, and you name it, he could do it.
I've seen all of it. I've worked commentary with Scott before. He's good at what he
Class
does.
act, man.
No doubt
It's a
about it. No doubt.
Pure class act. And
Yeah.
I want to give him his flowers now, because I feel like in the last few years he hasn't got his flowers, and he deserves it.
Well, see, Red, he's calling you out.
I,
Work.
John Bullard just took your gift. He took your shtick. It's gimmick infringement.
It's my nephew. Like, I'm gonna be bothered.
That's fair. Go ahead, Scott. I don't need to cut you off.
But-
We shenanigans here. That's kind of the shtick.
No, but like I appreciate everything you just said, John. And I've been around this business for 19 years now. And I trained when I was living in Washington State. I've worked in the Northeast. I've worked in New England. I've done a lot in, New Jersey, on down the East Coast. And by far the Midwest has, in my opinion, the best wrestling scene. And I feel like, especially with Divine, with them showcasing the women, like I've been saying for years, the women need more time. They really need to have that opportunity. There's a lot of women out there who can outwork a lot of guys that are out there right now. And I've been in those locker rooms where you hear it's like, oh, hey, where are we gonna have a women's match? You're like, I don't really think, this is the right crowd for it. It's like, are you nuts? Like, wrestling should be inclusive. It should have everybody involved, not just men. It should have everybody involved. And professional wrestling, to me, it should be a safe space. This is our escape. This is where we go to get away from the negativity in our lives or whatever's happening in our personal whatever. And I feel like that just embodies flow. We can bring in everybody. There's a flavor of ice cream for everybody. You like lucha, we got lucha. You want some women's wrestling? Our partnership at Divine, we've got some women's wrestling. Like, literally something for everybody. And with the last show that we had in Indiana Beach, like John said, standing room only. At the end of the night, there were so many people that had never seen a wrestling show before that walked away from that just mind blown, and it was amazing, and it felt so good to see that, because now I feel like we're bringing in new fans, and we're kind of bringing up the new generation for people who are going to keep it going after we step aside.
Scott, I remember when Christian Barajas, or shout out to him, by the way, one of the best ring announcers in the business going right now.
Fantastic, dude.
When Barajas asked the crowd, have you seen pro wrestling live before? And some hands came in. And when he said, how many of you have never seen pro wrestling live? And 250 hands come raising up. I looked at my wife and I looked right over at Scott. Scott looked right over back at me, and we both were like, okay, now we need to go back to the locker room and let everybody know, you need to step it up, because this is a first time ever impression. You got to let the fans know, this is what we're about. And
that's exactly what I did. And that's exactly what I did. I went into that locker room, and I went to TFG, those guys. And I was just like, hey, you got a lot of new fans out there. They're like, all right, we got something for them. And then they went out there and they killed it.
Building bridges is a huge thing, and that is a big part of this partnership as well. We want to be able to branch that divide between areas. So something that Flow is already doing, which is bringing talent from other locations to wrestle talent from the Indiana, Chicago area. Because once those guys go their separate ways, they go back to their home promotions, wherever it may be. Hey, I worked with such and such. Hey, I worked with such and such. You start to build this network. And I feel like the networking thing, and maybe it was COVID a little bit that kind of killed it, but it felt like the networking kind of died in the last couple of years. And that's something I want to help bring back with what I'm doing on this end, and be able to get these ladies' names out there. Cause I have a couple of them that I'm like, you guys have work not less than 100 miles away from each other. And you've never heard of each other, and you've been working for 3 years. That's an hour and a half driving distance. We got to bring some of these folks up here. We got to have you get down there. And I think that's something that is going to be fostered with this relationship is we're going to put a lot of eyes on people that normally wouldn't see that. Especially at a fan level, and building new fans is super, super important because you can never not build them. That's why my focus with Divine is on the family and on the kids and stuff. Because if a kid goes and sees a really cool wrestling show, they're going to tell all their friends about it. If an adult goes and sees it, they might tell like their one buddy that likes wrestling. But that's it. So
Big part of what we did at Indiana Beach too, and this is not me trying to toot my own horn by no means, but we had me and the owner of the park, we had a really great agreement on a contract, but we were still also selling tickets too, and the birth of my son is arriving in October, and so I started thinking about families. I started thinking about some of the things that moms and dads may not afford. The economy is not the easiest economy to be in. And so I bought all the remaining tickets and gives it to the park owner, says, everyone gets in for free. This is my token of appreciation to the world I'm living in right now. I'm becoming a dad. I want all these families to come in. Make sure they're families too. Bring them all in. Every one of them. Make sure it's a family. And boy, at the end of that show, and Shawn and Scott could be a testament to this. How many of those families walked up to us and were like, "Thank you." Like that was probably one of the best nights we've had as a family. And awesome. When's the next show? And that's the best thing as a promoter you could hear. When's the next show? Because that means now they're invested. Now you have a new fan for life. Because they remember also the token appreciation, but they also remembered a token appreciation came with a pretty cool show. My kids are excited, entertained. They're about to pass out in the backseat of the car, so driving home will be a lot easier.
Indeed.
And life is going to be a lot better for that family for one night because they can forget about their problems. Mom and dad don't have to worry about their 9 to 5 job for one night. You come out, you forget about that stuff, and you put yourself in a role of imagination, and you fall in love with what we have always fallen in love with, which is the magic of professional wrestling. And I'm excited that we recreated a whole lot of fans out there for not just for us, but for the business in itself. And I hope that love continues for the next generation and on forth. That's why I'm excited for this Indiana Beach show coming up on August 31st. Because man, we got Leslie Michelle versus Stella for the Divine Women's Championship. We have those effing guys, Don Tone Leon and Jay Leo, who, in my opinion, just my opinion, probably the best up and coming tag team in the Midwest. They're so good. They remind me a lot of the Midnight Express. They're fast paced. They tell a great story. They get an entire building riled up. They're good, but they're teaming up with Derek Derringer, and they're taking on another great tag team that is becoming very much fan favorites, the Bruisers, with Bobby Documents, the rare Bobby Documents sighting, R&B legend, 1960 Soul Brother wrestler, all the way through Bobby Documents, teaming up with the Bruisers, known as Quartered Summons, as they jokingly call themselves. But also we got Gran Torino out of the Michigan area. He's probably one of Michigan's best up-and-coming luchadors. He's taken on our Super Raccoon friend, Lord Captures, who is one of the Chicago's premier lucha stars. We got, of course, Kenny Nine, who is now breaking out of the Chicago scene, and he's going to different places. He's traveling with us. He's now part of the Flow roster. I think Kenny has a massive upsell to himself. We got so many good matches, and of course, main event, over the top battle royal, the King of Indiana Beach title, being created by the theme park itself. They want someone to walk around as the King of Indiana Beach, and it's going to be old school Royal Rumble style, over the top rope elimination. So we're looking forward to August 31st, and I can't ask for a better group of guys to call business partners, friends, and brothers to work with. And the thing is, we're not just doing like Indiana and Chicago town. We have different crews from like Ohio. We have crews from Michigan. We have crews from Louisville, Kentucky area. We got people from the Chicago, Northwest Indiana, Indy scene in the state of Indiana, you know, a little southern area. But we also got some talent coming up for season 2 for Flow, which I'm really excited about for season 2 because we got talent from New York, we got talent from Cali, we got talent from Mexico. Been in talks with some good friends from Japan that are kind of wanting to make their reappearance here in America again as they're getting their visas renewed. So we're gonna have some fun shows, and one of the coolest things ever. I know C Red knows this man very well, but recently we've been praised by the founder of Shakara, Mike Quackenbush, who has really put over Flow with everyone he's talked to. And every time we make a social media post, he's always pointing out like, this is really cool. This is giving me, you know, good vibes from when he was running shows. And I know Red knows Mike very, very well because Red, as a lot of you guys may remember, he's a Shakara original too. So it's in Red, you know, having you on that the special rec show with us, man, that was talking about a blessing having you with us and getting that kind of like that pat on the back from you was like, you guys got. I remember that's what you said when you left out. He said,
I think Red wants
you,
to
I
be
don't
the
know
king
what
of
you
Indiana
have,
Beach, to
but
be
you have
honest with
something.
you. I think Red wants to be the king of Indiana Beach. I'm looking at him, I'm watching him as you're talking about this, and I can see the wheels spinning in his head.
He's
Plus, when
invited.
you said Shakara, Red suddenly perked up. Because I mean, if you're gonna come on this show and you're gonna drop that name, then I'm not gonna say another word. It's all Red from here on out because he is our foremost Shakara expert. In fact, he won't shut up about it. So we'll just let him go.
Whatever, Steve. First of all, nephew, it's a pleasure as always to see you and be around. Shawn, it's great to see you again. Ethan and Scott, a pleasure to meet you both. Again, that first Flow show was so near and dear because I am a Special Olympics coach. So, you know, my students mean so much to me. And to know that you guys had not even scratched all the athletes, but it was like, okay, let's see what happens, right?
Yep.
And to walk out before a show and see my former students and they mobbed me like nobody's business was like, hold on, stop, give me a second. You know, like it brought tears because a lot of them, the only time we get to see them now maybe is at spring games. But even then, like we just did spring games this past year, they have broken it up where you don't see a lot of these organizations anymore because they have their own day. So for me to see my former students and again, the one that picked me up and spun me around, I'm like, bruh, stop. Like, you know, it touched my heart. And to see all of them, like, I'm probably the only one that they recognize on a halfway basis. But again, for them, again, a lot of them don't get out to see live professional wrestling. So to see the card and to peek through the curtain and to watch everyone's reaction, not just them, their families, their parents. I'm like, these are ladies that, you know, they have to take care of their Olympians and athletes 24/7, you know, so they're tired, they're, you know, they're worn out and they are jumping around, excited because they're seeing all this great action going on. And I was like, that's why I patted you on the back. Again, to see the reaction every match got was ridiculous.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. And I knew at that point there's something special here.
And see, Red, I want to tag in right here too, because I also told John that same night, I've refereed all over the place, and I've ref some really cool matches with some really high profile people, and I've done a lot of really cool shows. But at the end of that Special Olympics show, I went into the other locker room that we didn't have, and I had to go into a corner, and I actually broke down, not because of sadness, but because I've never been in front of so many people that were just so thankful. And that was really what got me wanting to work with John. I love wrestling, of course, but and I want to make people happy, but to see so many people, parents, and them like just thanking us. They were so blessed and thankful to have us put on a show for them. And I mean, it was just so heartwarming when after the show, we're all by the ring and everybody just wants to come give you a hug and handshake you and say thank you. And it touched me in a way that, as much cool stuff as I've done, there's nothing that's topped that moment yet. And it was really that moment that solidified it for me, where it's like, John is good people's, and I want to recreate that feeling so hard. And it's going to be very tough, but that was what really got my ball rolling with Flow again. And then when John was like, dude, I'm with you, and we were just in sync like that, it was just, I, not to make it a pun, but it was a literal divine intervention that John and I started working with each other, because it was just out of the blue. I was recommended by a friend of mine who knew John, and I met John for the first time at that Special
It was
Olympics show.
Stockmeyer,
Yep.
Ace Evans. Yeah, he was also
All of us
an amazing
Shawns were
guy.
just connected. Yeah. All of us Shawns were like in link somehow. But it's
Yeah,
just, man,
but
yeah.
so
Hey,
John knows that I have
Red,
put on.
hang on a second. By the way, welcome to the Real Deal Rion Skills here. Hi,
Yeah,
Rion.
it was a Rion.
Oh, hey, welcome.
You
I
legit
was going.
didn't have to stop any
I
other.
was
I just wanted to cut Red off real quick.
No, you didn't
Go
have
ahead,
to do
Red.
that. Go Red. By all
and I
means.
was gonna do that anyway. Thanks a lot, Steve. You're
No,
so
that's
rude.
fine. Please continue. Stay on task, please.
So
Not
effing
me.
rude.
My bad.
But as I was going to say, as Ryan can contest, and John knows that I've ran my shows. When you do I do a show every year for my students. And there's no better feeling in the world. Everybody that has ever participated leaves that show like, thank you for letting me be a part of this, because they see the look on the kids and students' faces. Because let's be honest, most of them will never be able to afford a ticket, whether it is to the United Center, it's to Allstate. They won't be able, a whole family can't afford it. And you guys are providing that, which gives families, and that's what I love when I heard it, that it is not just for your average wrestling fan, but it is for an enjoyment of families.
Yep.
And again, to kind of highlight the Chikara thing, is that was the best period of our lives, we say, because you didn't have to know a story to watch a show and not be entertained. Same thing with Flow. You don't have to know the story. Like Shawn said, who's the good guy? Who's the bad guy? That's all I need to know. That's it.
That's it. That's
and
it.
the story writes itself. And you started that day one, and then I found out about the Indiana Beach show, and I was like, dang, they've done it again. Now you've partnered with a all women's organization, Divine. Oh my God. Like, you've already built the 3-tier cake. Now y'all want to get fancy with it and put all this frosting and designs. I'm like, okay, this is a match made in heaven. So the 4 gentlemen that are here that are responsible for all of this, like, I can only see greater things happen. And I appreciate Ethan for recognizing that there was something missing. Yeah, let's be honest. Shimmer started here in Chicago.
Yep.
But again, that was it. Shimmer was the only place where a woman could go and wrestle. And again, like you said, unfortunately, you there at 4, you don't get out till midnight. And trust me, I know that for a fact. I was at Shimmer, 3 and 4 and 5 and 6. Like, you better pack a lunch. Like, you're gonna be there all night, But women don't get that opportunity that so many people elsewhere get. So I applaud you, Ethan, for even having that passion and that drive for women's wrestling.
Yeah,
And
I appreciate that.
and again, Scott is that person again that I don't know person, but guess what? I know of Scott. And guess what? When John came to me one day and told me, "Oh yeah, I commentated with this guy." Okay, that's nothing new. Like, dude, you kicked me to the side a long time ago. And
That's gone.
But he said the way that you were able to articulate and the way that you put over talent was so unique. He was like, I don't even know why I was there. Like, they didn't even need me. Scott could have did it all by himself. And I was really thinking, yeah, they probably could have, because they really didn't need you.
Is that a John Bullard impression you were just doing there? That's pretty good. That wasn't bad.
Don't worry about it. But I think that this is nothing but untapped potential that everybody will see. And yes, Steve, my bag is right here. So if nephew John calls me and tells me that there's a spot for me in the battle royal, I will once again dust off the boots.
You son of a bitch.
Don't
Retired.
hate.
Sabbatical.
I'm on
Get
sabbatical.
the fuck out of here with sabbatical. My ass.
Sabbatical.
He had the word sabbatical, but he had his plane tickets in his back pocket.
Yeah, I'll tell you what. He's
Don't hate Steve.
He's sabbatical more this year than he did last year.
Don't hate Steve.
You need a bushwhacker spot.
Let's go big double metal.
That is my thing. That is what it is. I've been in 3 battle royals and I have a total of 42 seconds.
That's awesome.
I've been in one and I've got about 3.5.
Hey, the last one I was supposed to be in and out, and then I was like, hell, I'm in here a little bit too long. Let me figure out how to get out of this joint.
You last until the end and you throw the guy over. That's how you had to figure it out.
Oh, no. Understand. So the running joke is I went in 9th. And John knows Marche Rocket very well. And when Marche found out I was in it, he was like, y'all hold him till I come out. And I said, Marche, what number are you? 21. You think I'm about to hang around and wait till you come out so you can chop me? No, No, sir, that will not happen today. No, I will not be driving home with my chest all blustered. No.
So he eliminated himself at 20.
My favorite
how that
battle royal
happened.
story. My favorite battle royal story ever. When I was in Kentucky, we had Jim White. Jim White was an old territory worker from the 1950s and 60s. He was Jerry Lawler's first tag team partner. Won multiple titles of Jerry Lawler. And he said there was a battle royal that was going on in Memphis one night. And he said the final two guys, how the elimination was supposed to happen, the guy was supposed to drop kick the other guy in the back. And he was go over the top rope. Well, during all the commotion, the other guy who was supposed to drop kick was laying down. Fan threw a cup of ice and hit the guy right in the back, and the guy took the bump from the cup of ice and eliminated himself, thinking it was the drop kick. When he turns around and looks, and the babyface still laying down on the ground, he's like, "What the world?" And everyone's laughing, and yeah, and how Jim White always tells, he's like, "That guy right there bumped off a damn cup of ice, a damn cup of ice, boys. Now, what's your excuse for not bumping?"
That's selling right there. That's selling.
And you sell will always sell.
Yes, we learned
Always
that.
be
Learned
selling.
that a few shows ago. Red is basically begging you to get him because he wants to be the king of Indiana. So,
I
John,
think a theme park day. That's the fun thing about Flow too. We actually enjoy the theme park we go do a show at. Like, we go out there, like, the guys actually dressed in costume and everything, and walk around the theme park, ride rides, and talk to the fans. Like, like I said, when we're interactive. We're interactive with our fans. And so, yeah, Red, you're most invited to go down to Indiana Beach with us, man. Just let me know when, where, and whenever you want to do it.
And
He's never
C-Red, not only that, the King of Indiana Beach is not the only championship that could possibly be earned in Flow, but you're gonna have to wait till season 2 to figure out what else you could possibly be fighting for.
Ooh, that's
Leave that little
That's a
carrot
teaser.
dangling here.
That's a teaser.
Look at
Little
that
carrot from
tease.
Shawn.
Look at
That's
that
just a little
tease.
bit.
What about it?
Well, so I could personally say, when I was at the last show, I had my girlfriend, our adopted son, and then we had her nieces with us. And I remember I walked off to go get a pizza and an adult beverage, and watching the guys like basically cut promos on each other in front of just random fans that were walking around. And then they'd get done and they would just walk away. And these random people would just be like, "Oh my God, there's wrestling here tonight? That was awesome." And sure enough, they show up at the end of the night and they had a fantastic time. So it's like, this thing that was like, like, I've never seen that anywhere before, but that works.
It's
And
a
that's,
literal throwback, Scott, to the old carnival days.
yeah,
Way back in the
exactly.
days when wrestling was in the carnivals, wrestlers used to stand out there in the front, and the barker would be like, "All right, step up, ladies and gentlemen. Who could defeat this man here? Who in the crowd could take on the person, the biggest bruiser, baddest guy in the world?"
Yeah,
And
'cause
the boys did that. They went out and they're like, "Yeah, well, who you think you could beat me?" And the other, "Oh yeah, yeah," and give Nerd credit. Nelson Edwin Robert Doolittle V, who
well,
was
except
super over.
there was that one guy,
That
and you
one.
know what I'm talking about. That one guy who's like,
The
"Oh, I
MMA
trained
bro.
MMA." We're like, "Yeah, no, you're taking it too far. Go sit down."
Always
I
that one
love it.
guy.
There's always that one
Always.
guy who says he was an MMA fighter, and you go like, "Okay," and they're like, "Yeah, I was professional." I'm like, "So you fought for UFC?" And they go, "Oh," I'm like, "Well, that sounds like you're more like an amateur fighter, you know." So
It was
yeah,
like,
that's how you break them real quick. And we're like, "Well, okay, what's your name? I'll look you up on SureDog.net or one of the MMA websites." "Oh,
yeah,
your
it's,
name
it's,
is not on here." "Okay, wow, magical record."
it's like, sit down with your Harley shirt and your Oakley shades, or I'll rip your shoulder out of your socket myself.
Listen,
It's chill out.
it's your affliction t-shirt and bedazzled jeans.
I
You
was
come
just
out
about to
looking
say
like
that.
looking
Yep.
like the old Elias gimmick.
Oh my god,
Hey,
yes.
That's
Steve.
And that's how-
listen, somebody has to keep affliction in business, right? Somebody has
And
to.
even
It's coming
tell
back.
Boz- Tell Boz don't
Walmart right
watch
now.
this episode. Tell Boz don't watch
oh
this
my
episode.
god.
Oh, no offense, Boz.
But Ethan,
Pass
me
him
and
a quick
Scott,
line.
and Sean will testify to this. The guy who was walking up to all of our wrestlers acting like he was going to fight him was literally the guy you just described.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, 100%. Shawn, I don't know if you were there at this show. There was a show a year and a half ago, Garden City, Michigan. One of the guys in the crowd started kind of getting wily up in Adam Wick's face. And Adam, Shawn knows this, is somebody who likes to push the boundaries. Adam
Just a bit.
he will just keep going. Well, it got to the
Yeah.
point where the guy like got very close to putting his hands on him, and DBA ran out of the back, and we actually had to restrain DBA and tell the fan, we're like, we need you to leave for your
DBA
own
would kill him.
safety. Yeah, and that's where it was going. We're like, we got this. Like, we're good. We're getting this guy out of here. We're getting this, we're like, guys, it's just entertainment. There's no need for this. There's no need for it.
I'll tell a similar story. When I was working, this was 7 years ago at a horror slam show, one of the very first shows in Riverview. Once again, DBA was doing an angle, and I remember I was just doing security at the time, and a fan thought it was real, and a security guard for the bar thought it was real, and we had to stop them because DBA, he is the most dangerous man in Michigan, and he owns that to a T, and I will never fight him on that. He is Michigan royalty. The Monroes are all top-notch people who have their own promotion here for years on end, and I'll never forget that, like, we had to separate him because DBA will mess a mother trucker up with me trying to keep my language as minimum as possible, but I know Ethan can attest to it.
Language,
It's
is relevant here. So say what you want to say.
Kayfabe though. See, we're supposed to be family friendly PG guys.
Yeah, that's
I know, right?
C-Red hasn't seen a PG day in his life. Yeah.
But and that's the thing is, like, at the end of the day, we just want to bring family friendly, fun wrestling where we don't have to worry about guys like that. We don't have to worry about people trying to be a part of the show and think that they can just chime in and whatever. Because we all have been to wrestling shows where the one wrestling fan's trying to take over the whole show, whether it be with chants or whatever. And we just want to be like, no, dude, we know what we're doing is goofy. We understand flow is a kind of out there idea in and of itself. So just come along for the ride. Like, legitimately, as punny as it is, just go with the flow, because it's just going to be a fun time with you and your or you and your buddies. If you and your buddies want to come out and just have a good time, that is the whole design of what we're trying to do. And with this partnership with Divine, we just want to showcase both family friendly and women's talent in the most professional, fun, and safe environment possible, because that's what they deserve. There's too many people out here that either take advantage of workers and either don't give them their full rate or try to brother people all the time. And it's like, everybody I've talked to that I want to bring onto Flow, my exact words were, do not give me your brother rate, give me your real professional rate, because I want to treat you as a professional, because I've seen too many people not get treated that way, and I don't think it's cool. I really don't. And it's like, I don't care if it's a carload or just you yourself. Tell me how much it would cost so that you have some gas in your tank, your food covered, and maybe a little bit of lodging or whatever we can do to figure it out, because at the end of the day, this is a business and we want to be as professional. Even though we're being a little fun and being a little goofy, we want to be as professional as possible.
That's one of the things that Don Tone Leon from Those Effing Guys put over to everybody about us. He's like, you go there, your pay's already there. You don't have to, and everybody who's ever worked for me knows this anyway about me. I always have your pay right then and there. I don't do the whole, well, after the show, where it's always going to be like, here's your pay. Thank you, sir, for showing up and wrestling. Let's kill it tonight. Scott, one of the guys that will always bring pizzas or food for the locker room. So not only are the guys getting paid, but they're also getting fed while getting paid. And a lot of times the venues too will also offer catering or take care of our guys, because they know, we're coming in as a special attraction to them. So, for a lot of wrestlers, like, hey, I get paid up front, so I'm not going to get screwed over on pay. Everyone's really down to earth. We're getting fed on top of getting paid.
And John, guess what? Let's remind everybody of this. Everybody here's been to a wrestling show. We set up in 45 minutes. We had everything set up. We ended the show at 9:29 on the dot. We had a 9:30 cut time. We ended right at the cut time. And I kid you not, at 9:45, the ring was torn down and loaded into the trailer. And I looked at my phone and I go, we just did this in 15 minutes because it was just all hands on deck. Everybody was so pumped. And it was like it didn't even happen. Everybody was like, the ring's already taken care of. And it's like when you're boys and you're all just having a good time, there was no prima donna egos. There was no, I don't need to touch this. It was just all hands on deck. And guess what? We all got to hang out, have a drink, and relax. It's a crazy concept that I don't know if anybody's ever thought of in professional wrestling. But if everybody were to just do a little bit, we could all socialize and gather like the boys used to do in the day and have a good time. But what do I know?
And the thing too, to go on this, I know Scott's with me on this, and we talk about talent right along with Shawn when we want to bring in guys that we think for season 2 would be good for Flow. And one of the things that we always look at is, are they a team player? And how are they as a human being? Not like in wrestling, but how are they actually are as a human being in life in general? Are they a good person? Because I don't want to bring in someone who's like a trash human being that bullies people or mocks special needs kids and stuff like that. Like the first minute I see someone does that, they're straight up dead to me on that. We had some guys, and I'm not going to call out names because I'm professional about it. But we had some guys for that special rec show. They found out what the show was for, and they were like, yeah, I got a book in already. I'm sorry. And like, what, you just told me 5 minutes ago you were free. And so when I heard that, I straight up wrote on my list the people's names. I'm like, not booking ever again. Just because it's not being petty, but if you're not on board with us with what we're doing, that's okay. I'd rather have someone tell me, I'm not really into this type of shows. I'm more into you doing what I'm doing. That's cool because one's got a flavor of ice cream. Maybe we're not your flavor. That's okay. But if we are your flavor, then come on down. Let's show up and have a good time. The only thing I tell guys all the time is this: you're getting paid up front, you're getting fed. If you don't get fed yet, we'll get food afterwards. You know, you're always going to have a locker room of no cancers. And there's people that I'm friends with that I don't even book on my shows because they have somewhat of a cancerous behavior. So I kept them out of my shows. And it's hard because everyone wants to be your friend in wrestling. But once you see their real personalities, or they get their group of buddies, and you really watch how they treat the younger wrestlers, I don't want that. I want it to be a place where every wrestler walks in, man, woman, little person, giant, doesn't matter what your size and skin tone or religion or your gender or your preference, it doesn't matter to me. What matters to me is you feel at home with us and you feel that you have a place that you can work. There's a place that you can call your family. And what I love about our locker room is the camaraderie. I hope I probably butcher that word, but the brotherhood. When I used to say, like, I feel like the brotherhood of wrestling has died, Flow gave me back that brotherhood. I've never seen a locker room of guys, and some of them haven't worked with each other, but they instantly clicked just being around each other. It was like, I feel at home here. There's guys, our Kentucky crew is actually well liked by the Michigan crew because they end up gelling over music or gelling over certain stuff, and instantly now they have this bond with each other. And people who never worked with each other before now are like, yo, let's team up in other places outside of this place. It's developing friendships, it's developing a bond. And me, Steve, and also with Shawn, and also Rion knows me pretty well. I don't come at things as a wrestling promoter. I try to come at things as like a sports coach with people. And one of the most important foundations as a coach is team building and a team mentality. When everyone works together as a cohesive unit, you're damn near impossible to stop. Because when everyone's on the same board together, I'm not talking about, hey, let's drink the Kool-Aid and the Jim Jones, Paul Heyman type thing where I want everyone to be brainwashed. It's not that. But I agree with what Ethan said about what makes Divine special. If I'm investing in you, I hope that you want to invest back into us, because I want to see every wrestler who works with us really grow and really develop and become the person that NWA wants to sign. Because Shawn Porter, you guys don't know, he's one of the head referees for NWA Exodus. He's very much right there with EC3 on stuff. We got Scott over there, who's all over the Midwest scene, so he knows almost every promoter he's working with in Wisconsin. and Upper Peninsula of Michigan too, and Ethan, who's also now a promoter and also does commentary and does other work too on the side. We're not just a group of just guys hanging out with each other. We're also a group of pretty collective individuals who have a lot of connections that are looking at our connections and go, you know, we can pull from our connections here, bring this person in or bring that in, or have this company look at this person for us and see if they want to use them. It's all about giving back to each other, but also giving back to the business and people that's involved.
I agree, and not to take up any of those. One thing that John said that I really did want to touch on, and speaking of like you guys did the special needs show, which I think is such an important thing. And you're making memories, and wrestling really is about making memories. There's a dark side to some of this stuff though too. And having a women's promotion, something that I never thought I would have to sit down and write, is I have actually had to make a half sheet card that I'm going to put on the chairs at all of the Divine shows. I'm not worried about this at a Flow show because the precedent is already set. But at the Divine show, I have to write out something that says, hey, we're not going to tolerate certain types of language, certain hate speech, anything like that. And I have to put that on the chairs, and I will remove people. So I do want people to understand that this is something serious. If I hear certain remarks, if I hear something like that, I will personally remove you from the venue. And I don't care how big of a person you are, because I'll have a couple of guys that are far larger than I am with me. But I want every lady that works for me to understand that doesn't work for me, works with me, to understand that I'm there for them, and that the crew is there for them, that everybody is there for them, including the audience. And I don't want that to be lost anywhere along the line. And I think that Scott and John and Shawn have done a fantastic job of that already. And it's so good of a job that fantastic is in the name.
Yeah, and to kind of piggyback off of what John had already said too, of what we all bring to the table, I kind of look at Flow as like we're like that infinity gauntlet, and we've got us four to kind of bring our own flavor and our own ideas and everything to the table. But really, that fifth stone is really our team and our roster and everybody who we have the privilege and the honor of working with. And I feel like once we get all those pieces together, I mean, we're pretty unstoppable. And we have so many good things that are going now. We have so many good things that we have planned for the future. Some things that are going to blow some people's minds. Some things that people aren't expecting at all. But really, it comes down to everybody working together, everybody having that respect for one another, and then being able to project that to the crowd. So then hopefully, we kind of lead by example a little bit. And I've been to those shows where those guys have made really derogatory comments towards a lot of female talent. And it's just like as a fan, I just kind of sit back and I'm like, if I could throw this guy out in the middle of the street right now without getting myself in trouble, I would. But
Same. And I think what also works with us too as a company is that a lot of the guys on our roster has side jobs with the company. And I'm not going to drop names to break the fourth wall down, but we have people who do graphic designs. We have other people like Scott, myself, a few others who have marketing backgrounds who we're contacting other organizations and different fairs, festivals, and other places to branch out at. Everyone is working for the betterment of the company, and it's and I've been a promoter since 2012, and I've worked for companies ever since 2001. So I've seen my fair share of amazing teamwork, and I've also seen a great company get brought down by bad egos. And it's until this from the, and I know you guys want to go back on some other topics, but when I talk about a divine intervention type feeling, when I go back to that very first show, and I got to give a shout out to Tully Bergarelli, because Tully was the one who got me in contact with people at Special Rec, because Tully's also, like Seabread, a coach and a teacher with the kids. And Tully's like, dude, we're going to do some professional wrestling for them, and we're going to have a gym full of student athletes, and people are just going to have a great time. And 2 weeks before that show, I find out my wife is pregnant. 10 years we've been trying. All of a sudden, boom, here's this awesome news. This fell right on my lap. And as I'm putting the show together, I had another promotion that I was promoting for. And it just didn't feel right because it's like, okay, I'm doing more of a brutal, more violent type wrestling. And don't get me wrong, I love the deathmatch folks because some of the best people I met in my wrestling career came from that community as human beings, some of the nicest, most chillest guys and girls you ever meet. But I'm looking at life now a little differently because I'm a dad now. I'm about to become a father. And like Red said, when you go out and you see all these families and all these kids, and you see how much it meant to them, and how much the parents and the coaches and the teachers it meant to them. And some of them weren't wrestling fans, but afterwards they became wrestling fans or became fans of us. And I got emotional after the show was over. I think me, Shawn, and C Red, Uncle Red, all three of us kind of got emotional all the way through the show. It was just like, damn, but it was like emotional for different reasons. But mine was more like, all right, God, is this like you talking to me and let me know like this is the path you want me to take as a promoter? I could tell. Like you want me, look how much joy it's bringing. My wife kept bringing that up to me. She's like, look how much joy this is bringing to all these kids and all these families. Like this is beautiful. It's not like you're trying to appeal to the smart mark crowd, like your original CCW shows. You know, when you had the beer drinking crowd and everybody's riled and rowdy. Don't get me wrong; those fans can be great to work in front of, and I love them. But it's like, but listen to the appreciation of these people that are not intoxicated and they're just appreciating you because your guys are busting their butt out there and they're entertaining people. And not only that, after the show, you're giving them that fan fest and are like, come up, give us a hug, take pictures with us sitting on the ring. You know, we try to do that fan. The mentality that we have is fan first. One of my favorite people is the owner of the Savannah Bananas, and he has multiple books out. And I am a huge fan of Jesse and the work that he's been doing with Savannah Bananas. And I started taking a different route for the last 2 years, which is fan first. And I always felt like we did fan first with the promotion we did, but now we're really fan first. And we're not thinking of, okay, how much money we can make off this, but more of how can we make them want to come back? And then if we do road shows, have these people travel just to come see us because they know they're going to get something that no other promotion will give. And so we start putting that whole thing together. And like I said, all it took was me at the end of the show talking to Shawn. And Shawn just dropped into workflow on me. He's like, you know, me and my friend in the basement talked about this. And man, you're bringing this to life. And I'm like, what are you talking about? And he's like, well, we have this idea called the Fantastic League of Wrestling. Man, it's just what we did tonight is literally what we're talking about. And also Lord Captures. And, you know, me and him are best friends and we travel a lot together now. And Lord Captures is a huge Shakara kid. And Captures said to himself, he's like, dude, thank you for, at the end of the show, he said, thank you for giving me my Shakara experience. He's like, this is the closest thing I probably will ever get from Shakara. And I told that to Quackenbush, and Mike was emotional about that himself. And just talking to him because I feel it. And he was like, "You're on to doing. You're taking this big missing piece of the puzzle that when Shakara closed doors, sadly, a lot of wrestling companies overlook that genre of wrestling. And he's like, now you're building this giant piece of the puzzle to put it back in that place and be like, there is a place for that style of wrestling. There is a place for people of all walks of life get joined together in one building, forget about our problems for one night, and have a great time and have fun and be goofy together, and not worry about the craziness that's going on in our society and how bad families are struggling. And how about we give them a night where families are coming together, people from all walks of life are hugging each other and having a great time. That's the beauty of what we're doing.
And to wrap a bow on it, because I know we've been going for quite a while, but that's what brings us four together. Like Scott said, so awesome between Ethan and what he's doing with Divine and what Scott, John, and I are doing with Flow. We just want wrestling to be fun, safe, and a good time for the family. That's what at the end of the day, that's what matters. And the fact that we all share that and we're bringing it to you in different ways is to me is just so awesome that we're all so like-minded in the sense that like we just want to make wrestling good and fun again. And whether that be with an all women's promotion, whether that be with Hulk Hogan's Rockin' Wrestling from the 80s come to life. We just want wrestling to be fun for everybody because there's too many people out there that either try to take advantage or they don't even try that hard. And I won't, I won't throw anybody under the bus, but I can't stand on professionalism at all in any form of business. And I love that all of us together are as close as we are as family and friends and brothers, but we are very professional about how we're going about this. And I can only look to the skies for how far we're all going to go together with this partnership.
Well,
Agreed.
as certain somebody who I have worked with in the past said, we're in professional wrestling. Professional is that first word. Like if you can't be a professional, then maybe you should find another line of work or find something else to be in because
So where can the kids find you on social media? I'm going to start with John. John, tell the people watching the show where they can find you on social media. Where can they get tickets for the big show coming up in August? Break it down.
So you can definitely follow us on Facebook, Fantastic League of Wrestling. That's all you have to type into the search bar to pop up. You'll see our cool little logo, which is the guy behind me. Shout out to Arnie Bodenberg from Germany. He created that design. Arnie's the man. But Fantastic League of Wrestling on Facebook. If you follow us on Instagram, which we're big on Instagram as well too, you could actually follow us on it's FL of Wrestling. So Instagram.com FL of Wrestling, because we tried to do flow and it was like, nope, can't do that. So it's like, okay, so how about FLOF Wrestling? And it was like, yeah, we did. So it's FL of Wrestling. So it's supposed to be Fantastic League of Wrestling. That's on Instagram. We're on TikTok as well too, which is strange because I never thought myself being a TikTok guy. There's a shout out to Shawn, for kind of getting into that whole thing with TikTok, but that's helped us also boost up our things. We're also on TikTok as FL of Wrestling as well too. We also have a merchandise store too on fourthwall.com. You look up Fantastic League of Wrestling fourthwall.com, and man, we got hats, beanies, we have hoodies coming up, we got like t-shirts. We got like a whole bunch of new products coming out. Backpacks, duffel bags are being produced. We're gonna have tennis shoes, a whole bunch of other stuff. So like whatever you can wear, we're gonna have that made. But that's our main socials. We're working on a website as well right now too, which is gonna be really cool because we're trying to make it look more like a comic book. So you open up your panel, and then we're gonna have everybody animated. So like when you click on their character profile, it'll show up as a real them as well, and their bio and their information and their contacts. So we're doing some really cool stuff. We're getting prepared for this August 31st show. After the 31st, I'm going to take a little time away because my wife and me are going to have our kid in October. So Malachi, my son, will be making his debut, and I'm looking forward to being the Pops. And then we're working on season 2 because now once the summer time is over with, fairs, festivals, theme parks, all those places will start winding down. But what they do, they end up now looking for what's coming up for next year. What can we get booked? And we're planning to do not just Northwest Indiana and Chicago area, but we're looking to also do Michigan. We're looking to do Ohio. We're looking to do Wisconsin. Like we're really planning to make this a real traveling show where you want us, well, here we are. So we're
A
putting in
lot
the
of
work.
carrots, a lot of
Oh, yeah.
carrots being dangled here.
Yeah, like I said, we got a really cool thing. Like I said, I'm looking forward to creating a preview video for season 2, and might have a little drop of hints of the new talent coming in with us, and also a couple of masters of wrestling holds and styles that are on the talks about joining us as a coach and also as one of our star performers.
Very, very cool. Ethan, what about you? Where can they find Divine Wrestling on the socials?
You can find Divine Wrestling at multiple different locations. Most of it is Divine Pro. It's just Divine Pro Wrestling or Divine Women's Pro Wrestling on Facebook. You can find us at, I believe it's Divine Pro Wrestling 2019 on Instagram. I'm working on getting everything kind of aligned. And we don't yet have a Twitter X, whatever you want to call it. Don't have one of those. But then you can find video of the previous shows. We actually just released the first match from the last show. That's on the On a Forklift Wrestling Podcast YouTube channel, which is my podcast with my production partner. And that's where all the all the Divine stuff is going to be located at for the time being. As in regards to video stuff. Otherwise, yeah, we're making announcements every day. I apologize. I just had somebody drop somebody hit us up for a sponsorship here during the show. So I was just putting something together for that to get that out there for them. Yeah, it's hard and heavy. And let's put it this way: the combination between Divine and Flow doesn't just carry over with that, but we also have one half of the same commentary team. So I'm super stoked about it. So basically, anything that you find Divine sharing or you find Flow sharing, you can also find it on Peapod's channel or Peapod's Facebook page because he shares all of that. So
Shout out to Chris Starr.
there is a ton of ways to get your fix of the information that we're putting out there about these shows.
Gentlemen, it's been our pleasure having you on the show tonight. I'm very excited for each and every one of you, the concepts, the way you're going about doing it. You're doing it the right way. And, that is something that sadly isn't being done very much anymore, the right way. So we applaud you. We look forward to seeing it. Red will be waiting for his invitation to Indiana Beach. He'll dust off his boots for you. And we'll have you back on down the road so we can get caught up on what you're doing, because I think your story is just beginning and I can't wait to see where it goes. So it's been our pleasure. Thank you so much for taking and giving us so much information and giving us so much time tonight. It's a blessing and a thrill, and we appreciate each and every one of you.
We appreciate you, Steve and Rick. Thank you guys
Thank
both.
you.
And Ria.
Yeah, thank you.
So now we're going to say goodbye to our guests and have them log off so we can talk about them behind their backs, because that's the shenanigans we do here. We want to talk about you when you can't hear what we're saying. So that'll give you a reason to watch the show later on down the line. Hey, what do those idiots say about us?
So, I like it. Thank you, gentlemen.
Guys, have a great night. I can't wait to hear your
about
podcast.
John.
I'm going after each
watching you, Andy.
I want to hear that. Andy is just an ornament right now, but Andy will talk all his smack coming up in a few moments.
I do have to say, I do love Andy's new gimmick as Hunter S. Thompson from Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas.
Every bit true.
And hey Steve, if I can plug one more cheap thing that I'll be a
Please.
part of that is non-Flow or Divine related. This Saturday, SummerSlam Saturday, I will be in Cleveland, Ohio, but I will be producing with Ricky Shane Page this mega show. I don't know if you guys have heard of it, Converge, this big wrestling supercard that Ricky Shane Page is doing. I will be there firsthand. We have our show at 3 o'clock at Mulberry, not even 5 minutes from where SummerSlam will be held in Cleveland, Ohio. So if anybody's listening that will be in the area SummerSlam weekend, come on through, because we've got a lot of promotions coming together, like how Flow and Divine have come together. We've got a big mega show coming where it's just a bunch of promotions wanting to showcase amazing talent on SummerSlam weekend with a huge stage. We'll be live on IWTV at 3 o'clock. But please, guys, if you want some wrestling, come to our Converge show Saturday, August 3rd.
That is awesome. Good luck on that show. We'll be pulling for you. And those of you with IWTV, and I know you got it, check it out live if you can't make it all the way to Ohio. Gentlemen, thank you so much. It's
Thank you, guys.
A genuine pleasure. Sean, good to see you again. Bullard,
Love you, Steve.
And Scott Jones,
we'll be in
sexy
touch.
bastard. We'll see you soon.
Absolutely, guys.
of
Thank
course.
you.
Thank you for having us.
Oh, it's my pleasure. It's our pleasure, believe me.
Thank you.
Good night, guys.
Good night.
That was a lot of information. Red, they're Shakarian. They're bringing Shakara back into the thing.
Yeah, I mean,
That's a bold statement.
no, it's validated when Mike
I
Quacken,
love Shakara, man.
when Mike Quackenbush can give you the nod of approval. I think everybody does a tad bit of what Chikara did when it comes to characters. Like, let's just be honest. The one that popped up off the top of my head was Turtle. Turtle would have been awesome. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
I mean,
It's a character.
Chikara was totally character based driven. You know,
Although I think
and
Turtle's dead.
well, he might be dead. Hey,
Might be dead. He
but
was
hey, I told him leave my nephew alone. But when you know, let's be honest, we can tune in to any promotion and see muscle guys, you know, baby
Handsome Rogue.
oil and all of that, okay. But I want to get into the characters. That's, let's be honest. Like they said, that's why during the era of, and not taking anything from Andy, but we're a little bit older, me, you, and Rion, we grew up during the time where everything was really about the character. Like I said, for me, it was, watching World Class before it was syndicated and, watching Kamala. Like, who is this African dude that's slapping his belly? Like, really? Like, why did they bring a dude? Like, for me, there is an Iranian managing a African. Like, huh? Like, make that make sense. Like, as a kid, I was like, so Flo is bringing that back. And I think, like they said, it's everything for everybody, and that's the one thing that I hate about wrestling fans is, they believe, it's supposed to be this way.
Hey,
It's
about
supposed to be
that way.
it's supposed to be cookie cutter. Everything is supposed to be the same. And it's like every promotion offers something different. If you would just enjoy it as entertainment, then guess what? Life would be so much better. But people want to go out there and be critical. And, and it's like, okay, that's your choice. But how about you just don't go watch that if you don't like it? If I don't like a program on TV, I'm not gonna sit there and torture myself. I'm gonna torture myself Thursday when I watch the Bears lose to the Texans. But
that's a Hall of Fame game, man. There's no priority here, but I get what you're saying though. I love their passion and I love how they spoke in a way that you really believed that they believed what they're saying. And I think honesty of self, especially in this business, is not always there. And I think they really, really believe that they have the answer to get where they want to go. And I believe that they will get there. That's the first time I had a chance to talk to Ethan. I'm going to go check out his podcast. That dude is entertaining as hell. And I love what he said. I love the fact that he wants to showcase women's wrestling because right now it's a terribly hot commodity that still not everybody wants to do, and everybody should be doing it. So there are a lot of people that don't do it that probably should. They just need to tailor it to what they're doing. So, I think the women can wrestle every bit as good as the men every day of the week. I just feel like it needs to be represented in different places at different times in different ways. And I think he's got a real good idea as to what he wants it to be. And that's why I enjoyed hearing from him. And, Shawn, this big Converge show. I mean, doing stuff anytime WWE runs on a weekend in the town they're running, that's going to be an electric situation. So I'm happy for him. John, going to be a dad and still out there building bridges and bringing people together. That's amazing stuff. That's why I wanted to have these guys on the show, because hearing them speak is inspiring. it makes you want to do better, makes you want to be better. And I think we could all use a little bit of that every now and again. So check out the Flow. I mean, you got to check it out. Check out Divine. They gave you all their social media stuff. Check out his podcast. Support these people that deserve the support. Plenty of people don't deserve the support. Give it to the people that do. Give it to the people that are working the right way. I think that's important.
I agree.
Now we're going to move on, and we'll talk to Hot Rod Daddy Andy, or should I say, what's the handsome rogue character, Father something?
Father Kraft, yeah, Mr. Kraft, either one, whatever name you want to call it.
They called you. They made fun of your new character, but I think they did it in all fun. So we've all heard, we've all seen, we've all had information on the Feast of the Goat Queen and the soft opening of Rogue Wrestling Entertainment. Break it down. How you feeling, brother?
Well, I had two goals going into this whole thing, and I kind of have told you in like private, and I know we've talked on the podcast twice about it too. Like my main goal was one, to entertain, and two, and this is like a huge goal, is to be on time. I wanted to make sure that I produced a show that went to the exact specifications that we needed it to be, and I feel like I accomplished both of those. I definitely know I was on time with both halves of my show, and after the show, I was asked by multiple people, like, when I'm going to have this ring set up to start training people, when are we going to do the next one, where are we going to do the next one? So I feel like I did pretty okay on my first show. I kind of kept my stress levels as down as I could as well.
Talk to us a little about the whole experience. I mean, the Feast of the Goat Queen is a long. It's not a sprint; it's a marathon because it starts and it goes all day long. How did you sprinkle the wrestling into an event that lasts almost 12 hours?
Well, we did split it up into two. It was basically two 1 hour shows. So the first show was at 3 o'clock. So between the hours of 12 to 3, people were just kind of vending, doing what they had to do. Music was playing, everyone was kind of partying. Then our show came on 3. We did our thing 3 to 4. You can hear me, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. We did our thing 3 to 4. At 4, we went to another break. At 4 o'clock to 5 o'clock, it was CKO and other announcements from Rabid Brewing. After that, it was us once again. We did our show. We finished. We broke down. So we did just 2 split hours. And then after that, it was just we had a band on. Then it was like burlesque and fire breathing. And it was kind of a carnival after that.
Very Renaissance fair. And what I hear,
Oh,
it was
God.
a spectacular event. Rion Skills,
It was-
what's your thoughts on it, Rion?
Hot. All the way,
Yeah, hot.
all the way around.
What are your perceptions of Rogue? I saw you doing some reffing duties. What did you think of the split production? How do you feel like it went?
It went fine. I believe that they are very good as far as keeping things on time, as you said. They're very good as far as keeping the characters in order. They're very, very entertaining as far as what they needed to do, as far as keeping the space while continuing to put themselves in a position where they don't overshadow the feast. And that is a very delicate balance.
Rion got frozen in one of his matches. I don't know if he got to tell you about that.
I did not hear about Rion getting frozen. I heard his boots were a big thing, but I didn't hear about freezing.
Oh yeah, his boots were huge. Actually, I'll have to send you the Google Drive later, Rion. Ricochet took some sick pictures of you, and one of the pictures was
Actually have it.
you got it.
Yeah, I appreciate it, but yeah, I've already gotten it from multiple people, including Discord. So I've seen them all of them.
Caught
So
up on the boot craze.
Rion's boots, superstars in their own right. So now that you've got this under your belt, Andy, do you have plans for a next show? And if so, where will it be?
We do have plans on the next show, and it might actually come a lot earlier than we thought. I can't really tell you right now about if like what the date is. Well, I can tell you it's going to be in like September, but that's about all I can tell you about it. But right now, my other half is in Cabo, so we're not talking. I'm letting him vacation because he kind of needs to chill after doing all the things he's done. But yeah, like I said, post show, I got a message on Facebook from another place who wants us to come out to their spot and perform a show. So I was kind of shocked by that because I was like, dang, there are people watching that I didn't anticipate. Like, I know as a wrestler that happens sometimes, but again, this is my first time really like sitting in the chair, so I didn't think anyone was coming to watch what I was putting on. So it was kind of cool to have that happen.
That is amazing stuff. And how is Cactus doing? She obviously played a pretty impressive role, as I have seen in the photos. How did that go for her?
Much like Rion said, it was very hot, so she was kind of burnt out from the first half. Second half, I think she felt a little bit better. It was actually starting to cool off a little bit. But I mean, she had a lot of fun. I don't know if you got to see any pictures of her character. She was very cool looking.
Yes.
We're gonna try to keep doing that for her every single show. So she's gonna have a different look all the time. And I don't know if I've ever explained what her character is to you, but like off air, I can tell you because I have a long list of characters and new characters that haven't showed up yet. Like it's kind of crazy.
I'm very happy for you, Andy. I know you've worked hard at this, and I know it's taken a long time to get you where you want to be. And I look forward to seeing what you do next. Rogue Wrestling Entertainment. You're in bed with a good partner, and I feel like you got a good support system. Sky's the limit, man. Just like the boys that were on before. Sky's the limit.
Yeah, they said an awful lot about. They said like a lot of things that. I mean, I 100% agree. Like entertainment in wrestling is it's more important to me than the actual wrestling because I like to assume that people who are coming to these events are people who thoroughly want to be entertained. Like if I'm going to an event as a brand new wrestling fan, the last thing I want to see is a dude slap a headlock on for 30 minutes or do like all these grinding typical moves. I want to be entertained by the stories. I want to be entertained by the emotions that they're portraying. I want to be entertained by the characters and what they look like or how they act. So like the Flow guys and the Divine guys, like I agree with a ton they said, but I wasn't going to interrupt and I wasn't going to let them talk because like I just like listening to other people who have the same kind of mind as I do.
They were on a roll, and so are you, Andy, and that's good news for me. Rabid Brewing seemed like they had a good day. Our spirits high at our favorite sponsor.
Oh boy. They sold out, so the whole event had like no tickets left. I was buying tickets for friends who weren't going to get there until the show just to ensure that they had tickets. But I had to leave early because I was super worn down. But by like 9 o'clock, it was probably about like 8:30 maybe. It seemed to have like picked up in a whole different direction and started getting a little bit wilder, which was fun. But again, I'm an old man and I was tired, so I left.
When the kids go to sleep, the adults like to play. And I had a feeling because I seem to remember the later it got at the roast of Dave, the wilder it got. So I half expected that to happen.
Yeah, the people of Rabid in general, like that whole crowd of Rabid and CKO and Rogue now, they tend to do that. They seem to save all their energy and then just explode at the very end, and it's kind of fun, but it's also very exhausting if you're not used to it.
Any penis tossing or keg tossing this time around?
Not this time. Too many people around for keg tossing. We would have knocked somebody out.
That it was there's
Uh,
chaos.
no, there was fire tossing and like hoops and stuff. There was a lot of that stuff, but yeah, none of the other stuff.
Fire, no stranger at Rabid Brewing, that's for sure. Uh, Awesome, Andy, you're the best, and I'm thrilled that you have this opportunity. I can't wait to get a chance to see Rogue live. I was unable to do it this past Saturday because I was in Wisconsin. But at some point, I'm going to get there and see what you're doing, and I'm going to be happy for you then too.
Well,
Love it when good
good
people do well.
good news is a lot of our shows after this one we're gonna try to run Fridays. So I'm hoping to catch that crowd of people who are coming through to get to like other places on Saturdays. That way we have different types of wrestlers flowing in, different types of crowds flowing in. And also just Friday night, like, just seems like a fun night to do professional wrestling. So that's kind of the aim going forward. Obviously, we'll have Goat Queens on Saturdays because we can't change that. It's been like 5 years of this, so
The
that's always
tradition.
going to be, yeah, that's always going to be the Saturday. And as you heard on the last time we were on, I mean, it's only going to get bigger. This one was sold out, and there was no space for anything else. So the next one's going to be like even bigger, I'm sure.
You're gonna need a bigger boat.
We're going to need a bigger something, yes.
Yes. All right. So I don't know if you all noticed, Pac-Man is suspiciously absent.
I know why.
Why? What do you know?
I know what I know. Well, I mean, it might be a different story from you guys, but I know what Mark told me from IPW last night.
Knock that boy into next year.
It was great. Yeah, me and
I'm
him.
still not even sure why he did it, but he did it, and
We
PX went down like a sack of potatoes.
me and Mark talk a lot. We work together, so there's a lot of he probably gets annoyed with my wrestling talk, but we talk a lot, so I knew what was going on.
So he just said, "Yeah, I beat up a random fan."
Oh no, I mean, yeah, I guess, yeah.
Oh, he's so mean. He's so mean indeed. IPW happened this past Sunday. What a show it was. Rian, let's talk about all the ongoings.
You sure you don't want to keep talking about Rogue?
Well, we talked about Rogue.
Okay.
We know what happened. We know it did. Plus, we don't want to be on for 6 hours, so we're going to get through the rest of the stuff.
Mhm.
And Andy can chime in because Andy knows IPW as well. If there's any other Rogue stuff, Andy can throw it our way.
Okay, I just didn't want you to cut him off. That was
Oh, I would never cut off Andy. Andy, do you have more to say? Did I cut you off?
There was a thief amongst our show. We have not figured out who he was yet. He did somehow acquire a piece of everyone's equipment after every match. He took something from a vendor. So there is a thief amongst the Rogue Wrestling Entertainment crowd. We will find him. A lot happened. I got shot, so that was pretty cool. That story will come out. Yeah, there was a lot. Like I said, Rion got first. Rion got burned. I got attacked by a bear. There was a lot in this show.
All right, so apparently I did stop too quickly.
Yes, you did.
Okay, that's my fault. Again, we just try to move things, so not always great, but we do our best.
That's fine.
So let's talk about you being shot. I mean, why not? How'd you get shot? What'd you get shot with? Was it a gun? The potato cannon? What'd you get shot with?
It was a gun.
It was a gun.
Was it a
Rion was in the
paint
ring for
gun?
that.
Was it a 45 Magnum? Are you in pain? Did you get stitches?
More like a
It
20.
was a golden gun, and apparently he didn't know he had blanks in his chamber because he had shot me a couple times, and I played Possum, which is not a creature on that man's universe, apparently, or his planet. So
A wrestler shot you?
Space Cowboy.
Space Cowboy shot
Yeah,
you.
Space Cowboy.
Gotta watch those Space Cowboys.
yeah. But it
Steve
turned
Miller
out
warned us years ago.
it turned out that he is he's got like morals. I don't have those. My character doesn't. But apparently he's not allowed to kill off contract, so he tried to have Rion arrest him mid-match, and then I rolled him up and beat him, and then that cowboy took offense to that.
So
Silly cowboy.
Rion tried to. Is Rion a constable in your universe?
No, he was just a ref. I don't know what the cowboy was doing asking Rion to arrest him, but I mean, refs have authority, so I guess he just assumed this ref had the authority to arrest him.
I mean, a authority figure. I get it.
But
Fire.
Rion's a smart ref. He didn't see any blood on me, so he knew I was fine. But
That's
the
good.
Space Cowboy didn't
Because
know.
if you'd have been shot and killed, that would have been a felony.
I did check a pulse.
That's good. As you
Yeah, he
should.
checked my pulse. We had one of those con moments where he, like, I guess he grabbed my head and screamed into space, into the ethers, worried about my life. I was fine.
Why did this happen to this poor soul?
Yeah, he
A
shot
moment
me.
of that nature. Yes, that's very common. You said there was fire and Rion got burned. Rion, I didn't see any burn.
What do you mean?
I thought I heard you say Rion was on
frozen.
fire.
He was frozen and then he was thawed out multiple times in one match.
Well,
It's fire and ice.
fire and ice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Two females that represent. One was fire, one was ice.
that's kind of X-Men-ish.
Yes, it was.
Or I believe there was fire and ice on Spidey and His Amazing Friends back on a Saturday morning once a month.
And Rion just happened to suffer the worst of it because he just kept getting burned and frozen and burned and frozen.
And you said
The
these
entire match.
were lady characters, correct?
Mhm.
Why is it that the lady characters like to beat you up so much?
Because I'm cuddly.
The crowd was entertained by Rion getting beat up too.
Well, I mean, that happens just in, when you go to CKO and he gets beat up, people find that.
Oh my God, Rion, you know what we can do? We just have to enchant your boots next time. They're already flames, so you can just be flame resistant next time.
Or I could just put the boots down and you can figure out what to do there. Kind of like with Demon Knight or Tales of the Crypt, where you can just make a domain in that area.
Okay. We're gonna cast some enchantments. We'll talk to some wizards for the next show and get your boots protected for you.
As long as you have a wizard on speed dial, you're doing okay in life. So you got
I
attacked
do have
by
a
a
wizard on
bear,
speed dial.
right? You got attacked by a bear, a king of bears, a bear king, if you will.
Yeah, he was the king of bears, and he actually is the inaugural goat queen, which is ironic because he's a king. But you can be anything you want to be in our place. So he beat me because that cowboy decided, oh, he does have a contract. So now the cowboy's after me, by the way. He is trying to actively kill me, and he is allowed to do so because he has a contract to do so.
Who
But
gave
he
him a
caught me.
contract?
Yeah, he has a contract now.
Who gave that to? Who gives a contract to a space cowboy?
International Space Cowboy Authorities. I don't know, like who gave
Like the Green
cowboys on
Lantern
Earth?
Corps?
Who gave cowboys on Earth the rights to shoot people when they had to go
Well, on the
hunt
Fall
people
Guy,
down?
Marky Post gave Colt Seavers but that's a whole other thing.
Space Cowboy Federation gave him the rights to go hunt me down. So now apparently I have a bounty on my head because
That's
I
Hubbard.
faked my death and made him kind of lose his mind.
Rion
So,
wants
that's
to know
fun.
about a hammer. What can you tell us about a magic hammer? Is it Mjolnir?
It can. Also the thief swiped that too, so there will be a video. I found it on my phone somehow that the thief also had in his hand. He took a picture.
You
But
feel like the thief could be Swiper from Dora the Explorer?
the thief is something, I don't know, but he did pick up the hammer and walk off with it because Torian and the Axe Breakers and Bison Tyrannus were fighting for Bison's hammer. And if I remember correctly, didn't someone in shoot, what match was it? It was one of the Axe Breakers singles matches against Torian. There was a hammer spot involved in this match. By the way, Bison is a dick. I don't want to just kind of
Well,
go
that
off.
seems to be true in most universes.
Yeah, he likes LeBron James even in this universe. Like he still thinks he's better than Michael Jordan. Terrible human being. He was booed.
Some universes he wears a crown. It's his whole thing.
And in this one he carries a hammer. So
why not? Why not? Hardware is.
I know. But yes, there was a mystical hammer floating around. Again, the thief does have it now. I have it on video. I will post it on TikTok. I will send it to you after this if you want to show it as like an exclusive on the Power Hour.
X is not here, so I don't have the technology to do such things. Maybe
I'll
we'll
just
this week. When the Goater
I'll-
Menendez joins us, we'll bring back some videos if you send them our way.
I'll send it to you. And you can just post it on your page or wherever you guys post
send
it.
it to me. I'll post that.
I'll send it to you. Yeah, but there was a lot that happened. Ladder showed up. My face went through a table. Like I said, bear beat me. I got shot. Rion got burned and frozen. A caveman also fought the Bear King. We had cavemen. We had a lot of things. This is a very heavy character based place, and there were a ton of characters.
Did the Goat Queen figure into your plans at all? Was there anything there with that? Because I mean, if there's a character at the Feast of the Goat Queen, then there it is.
Not to mine. I was knocked out by that time, so apparently she showed up in the ring after I got kneed in the back of the head from the top rope. So whatever happened there.
It was an unsolicited attack by the Queen.
No, not by the Queen. I was attacked by the Space Cowboy, and then the Bear King.
She hijacked your ring.
Yeah. She came in and then she celebrated with the Bear King. I've never seen this person before because I was knocked out cold. So
I
I have no clue. I was literally being dragged around the ring, and my face was down on the canvas the entire time. I have no idea what happened.
So you're no longer a handsome rogue?
Nope, I am a incapacitated rogue with a concussion and a bounty on my head.
But you had the time of your life, and that's all that matters, right?
Oh heck yeah, I did. That was fun. Like I want to like be I'll be real for like 2 seconds here. Like the people that I brought in, everyone showed up, everyone was there pretty much on time. But I put myself on this show, and I was planning on not doing this for like months. I didn't want to be on it, but I did it because I have been talking to everyone through messages, telling them like, hey, look, wrestling comes second, entertainment first. So I'm gonna put myself on first and be as absolutely goofy as I can to set sort of like an example of what I meant by that. And after I did that, everyone came up to me with ideas. Like Brittany, for example, came up to me with the idea to freeze Rion. Like that was all her. I didn't come up with any of that stuff. But like they started taking into the idea of their character so much more after seeing how foolish me and Hauser were being in the ring. And it just kind of snowballed from there. And it made me super happy to see that once everyone kind of saw what the page was, they all got on the same page, and we were just fun. It was fun for me. I laughed at a lot of things that happened in them rings.
What else happened?
I think I've pretty much explained it all. Like I said, I got killed. We had the Axe Breakers had their tag match. Oh my God, the crowd absolutely loved the Axe Breakers, and they also really, really loved Torian, but they still fucking hate Bison. Everybody hates that guy. I feel really bad for Torian because he seems like a cool dude, but that Bison dude is just a real jerk to him, and like I don't think he was actually invited to the show as seen in the promo. He kind of just stole the invitation for his own. So I'm gonna have to talk to Tobias about that and figure out what we can do about this dude, because you can't just be, it's our first show. You can't just be showing up if you want to fight. So we'll have to figure that out. But again, Emperor Tobias is now in Cabo, so I can't discuss that with him yet.
Well, he'll come home soon with a bottle of Cabo Wabo, hopefully. Well, thanks, Andy. That was awesome. I'm sorry you got shot.
It's all right. The bullets didn't hurt. They were blank, remember?
Well, still.
But that's not now he's got real bullets. So yes, I do have to worry about this because I have no idea how or when a space bounty hunter shows up. So luckily he doesn't know where I live. So I'm good.
And now you got to find a thief. So you're going to have a busy time until next September, right?
Yeah, that thief stole my sunglasses.
Well, that's unacceptable. You know how I am with sunglasses. I don't abide that stuff.
I know, me either. Or thieves.
These are bad. These are
Yeah.
bad.
So if anyone else has seen that thief or has videos, by the way, send them to me. I need to catch this guy.
Send the thief videos to Daddy Andy, and we will persecute this thief to the letter of the law. Are there laws at Rogue Wrestling? I mean, is there a whole other set of laws, maybe?
You have to ask Tobias and Ray about that. I'm just kind of handsomely
Tobias and
roguish.
Ray, if you're watching, we have to talk.
Yeah,
Sounds like you need a constable. You need a police person to handle your stuff.
Ooh, that's a good idea.
I think it's a
I'll
great
figure
idea.
that out. I'll figure that out for sure. We definitely need some kind of like regulator amongst us because it's kind of wild. Like I said, there's a lot of different personalities running around this place right now, and a lot of different weird mystical powers, which I don't have, and I don't have guns. So next time I have to come way more prepared. I was just a guy.
You need to find regulators that will come down in a blaze of glory and help you out.
I do.
Regulators!
One person got that. I'm glad.
I got it.
Two people got
it. I will find it. I will find that person. Maybe in September. Maybe in September I'll bring one with me.
Looking for you too, Andy, I'm sure.
Maybe in September I'll have some heat with me. I'll bring a heater with me or something. Protect me from the bounty hunter.
You're gonna need to be patted down. We're gonna need to install metal detectors.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to bring a gun to the gunfight next time. I can't let him be the only one.
Well, you always bring 2 tickets to the gun show, right?
Yeah, but I brought Fist to this one and I got shot for it.
That was a lucky shot.
Space Cat,
3 guns?
3 guns.
Wow, that's a lot of guns.
He had 3 guns, yeah. Rion did check him, and I think he found 2. I don't know how many you found, but he definitely pulled that other one out of nowhere and got me.
Sean, how many guns do you carry? He's got 2, at least 2 at all times. I saw that
Oh.
coming. I saw that coming.
Well, this bounty hunter's got 3. He might have more. I just only saw 3.
There's always could be more guns. He's got many pockets.
Yeah, that's what bounty hunters do. You ever seen Deadpool? They have so many pouches.
We just saw
Bounty
them.
hunters are
We saw
obsessed
Deadpool-
with
we saw
pouches.
Deadpool Friday.
Bounty hunters are obsessed with pouches, man.
Lots of pouches. Lots of places to put your stuff, just like George Carlin. Andy, you're a national treasure. Thank you so much for taking us through the maze that is Rogue Wrestling. And I recover from your injuries. Stay safe from the Space Cowboy, and all the best to you.
Yeah, I'm gonna keep my head on a swivel.
As you should. Are you going to stick around and hear about IPW taking off?
I'm gonna go take off. It's 8:30 right now. I've got
It
to
is
get ready for
8:30.
bed. I'm an old
Andy,
man. I got work
tell-
in the early mornings.
Tell your BFF that we said hello and we wish her well. And
Will
you
do.
take care of yourself, sir.
I will, and I'll listen to this show. You're putting it out tomorrow, right, or tonight?
It'll be up there at some point.
Okay. I mean,
When I
I'll
get
catch
around
the
to
other.
it.
I'll catch the other quarter of it after when you post it up. I usually do at work.
Love you, Andy. Thank you so much.
Love you guys. Thank you for having me on again, Rion. Hope to see you in September. Hope to see you guys soon. I feel like I haven't seen any of you but Rion in like forever.
Rion gets around.
Yes.
Good night, Hot Rod.
See you.
All
Later.
right, that is Daddy Andy, the one half of the Rogue Wrestling Entertainment. And boy, I'm glad you stopped me because I missed some really good stuff. So IPW while we're here.
What do you want to know?
Let's talk about it. There are lots of great matches.
There were 8 matches.
Turtle almost died.
You want to start with that one?
Yeah, let's start with that one. Paragon was in rare form, but in the end, it was the masked man who was revealed.
Mhm.
Tell us about that.
What do you want to know about him?
Tell the fans who the big villain was.
Some people will know him as Strickland from Elite Pro. Others will know him as Christopher Avant from Pro Championship Wrestling. But ultimately, he is someone that Turtle knows quite well from LWF. But as far as I'm concerned, he's just a grumpy old man.
Said some really hateful things to Turtle.
Okay.
That I didn't think that was very cool.
No. I mean, it happens, but a lot of stuff he was very, very upset about because he was just concerned of the idea of this Turtle consistently getting opportunities that weren't warranted. I don't think that's the case, but it is what it is.
Turtle got beaten badly by a chain.
Yes, he did.
And I saw him in the back afterwards, and those were some nasty wounds that the boy suffered. Is he going to be ready to compete next month?
Based on what took place on JFW, there's no telling because as far as what he was saying, he doesn't want to be involved in promotion of any shows right now. He just wants to be able, he needs a moment to himself. You can go to JFW's podcast and listen to that very thing.
I shared that this morning on social media. You can find it out there at JFW Podcast all over Facebook. They're on Apple Podcasts. They're everywhere. You can find JFW anywhere you get your podcast, and you can see what happened to Turtle. So it was tough show for many people. PX got beat up. Turtle got destroyed. We had a Rocket Pro Wrestling Championship match. Quinn Whittick took on Steve Michaels for the championship. Steve Michaels retained. You can watch the footage on IPW's page. It was a hell of a match. And, we stopped recording after the match was over, and I regret that because Quinn Whittick in the ring afterwards was a really nice moment for me. It was probably my favorite part of the whole show. It was a really cool moment, and, he gave you some love, and I really thought that was cool.
I appreciate him more than he realizes.
He's a classy dude, and he's got some opportunities that's going to take him out of the area for a while. And he really deserves them because he's a good guy, great wrestling mind, and he works his ass off. So
He does.
Power Hour sends nothing but the best to Quinn Woodhuck, one of our favorite here. Sexy violence indeed. Other matches that caught my eye. My good friend Gustavo and his new posse of misfits destroyed essentially and eliminated the big leagues, which I've been trying to do for a long time.
That's a good thing, right?
I would think so. I would think so. And then the big leagues turn on Russ. And then
What?
the big leagues turned on Russ or JR or whatever you want to call him, the king.
Oh, damn time.
And they beat the brakes off him. But guess who saved him? You want to talk about a spoiler alert? Brittany.
Why?
After he stole her dog. She's
Why?
behind him. All the
Why?
drama and stood by her man.
Why?
I
I might talk to that girl.
It was amazing.
Might talk to that girl.
People were in shock.
They're working things out.
It was a hell of a moment, hell of a match too.
Yeah, those as far as when I see their name is Reprisal.
Is that what they're called? Reprisal? I did not know that.
That was the one thing that Gustavo said as he was leaving. Because they never got an announcement because I didn't know they were even going to be there.
Yeah, they bum rushed the gate. I couldn't stop them. I'm taking tickets. Next thing I know, I thought 3 fans just tried to duck in and get free entrance to the show. No, it was them.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, they came in, did damage, property damage actually.
Oh, no.
Yeah, 3
I
holes
can't
in the
even
wall.
can't even
Three.
explain it.
Well, I can very, very easily. They literally put the big leagues through walls.
That's 100% true. You could go there right now, and there's an impression of Motivation Mike in that wall.
But, oh my God, I guess the question I would have to then ask is, IPW in danger of losing such a great venue over 3 assholes that put people through walls?
IPW is taking care of it. Guess we'll see what happens in the near future.
It was
All right.
oh my God, holy shit moment. That's for damn sure.
Indeed.
Your son had quite a match. He really fought hard. And I really enjoyed that match. Talk about that one.
As far as like who he fought, what was happening.
Who we fought, what was happening, why it was so entertaining.
Okay. So that was for the C3 Ultimate Championship. One of 4 big belts that were defended, including the Rock Pro Championship and the Emerge Championship. Your son wrestled Kid Lat in a very competitive match. Could not keep Kid Lat down. Almost lost because of it. Kid Lat won the match simply because your son had a breakdown as far as D'Angelo Silva and just used Rachel or knew Rachel and smacked Kid Lat in the face.
Works for me.
One of the themes of the day were four corners matches.
Mhm.
Those were very entertaining, and they were both for titles as well, right?
Yes.
The junior heavyweight championship was being defended in one of the 4 corners match, and obviously Nick Diamond, nobody shines like Nick Diamond. He retained.
Yes, it did.
Talk a little bit about that match.
Very chaotic. Guys that were in there were Rocky Rivera, a returning Leo LaFleur, and also then a returning Disco Ray, and the Intercounty champion for Rocket Pro, Joseph Von Jaeger. And they were all over the place, just very chaotic. Just a lot of people getting hit, a lot of people getting cut off, but ultimately, Nick Diamond ended up getting victory and retaining the championship, even with the officiating of referee Kevin, Steve's, I can't remember his name, but it's just, even with his officiating, he was able to overcome all of it.
He was openly drinking though, so I have a feeling that has something to do with it.
So I guess it's a good thing that there are other people that are paying attention to the count, because that match could have possibly still been going at this very moment,
Absolutely.
based on what was happening with the referee not being able to remember his own count.
Yes. What was the other one? What was the other Four Corners match?
Alternative championship.
That's right.
Oh, I thought you had something else you wanted.
I want to talk about that. I want you to set the
Do
stage.
you want to talk about it? Or you want me to talk?
I want you to talk about it and I will interject.
Okay. That was for the alternative championship with the current champion and medallion holder, Cash Money Corey McHenry. And that had a couple of debuts as well, where you had newcomer Crux. There was a mime that showed up in the form of
The mime stole the show.
Les Miserable.
Les Miserable.
That is not that's Les Miserable. That was how it's pronounced. That's how it was on the paper.
I didn't like him though because he smoked in the ring. I think that's bad taste.
It happens. And
I never.
Monty James.
And that's after that match was over, that's when Muggsy punched out PX.
I think I have that right. Well, and Chris Colt. Sorry, Christ Colt. Yeah. No, Christian. No. His name is Christian.
Yeah.
Right? That's on me.
Christian Toriola,
Yes.
whose parents were there, which was lovely. One of the matches that was also very interesting was the host of the show.
Mhm.
Surge took on
Eric Surge.
Eric Surge took on the IPW league champion.
School, they did right.
Yep. And Jay Thunder was sitting at ringside for this. And what was the ruling there? He couldn't intervene, or he would not get a title shot. Was that the rule?
Pretty much.
Yep. I was very impressed with Eric Surge. What an entertaining performer. And he beat the brakes off of Damian Gray, which I enjoy any day of the week. But that was a hell of a match. And Damian Gray gets the win in typical Damian Gray fashion.
He actually got a 4 count.
Explain that.
I'm waiting for C-Ray to figure out. So, match is taking place. Throughout all the big belt matchups, they were actual time limits that were called right around the 3-minute mark. Not the 3-minute mark, but I guess the 17-minute mark, I should say, because each one of the big belt championships were scheduled for 20 minutes. Around the 17-minute mark, Eric Surge was ultimately trying to just speed up and get his offense in order. Got too happy in the way that he handled things. Got rolled up, and because the referee took a drink during the Second City title match and the invitational match, he forgot that he counted to 3 and then counted again. I don't know. That's what happened. I don't know if you had anything you need to say, or I'm just telling you what.
No, I'm understanding, but at this point, do I need to call the IPW office and become a referee? I mean, I don't drink.
I'm pretty sure either I'm going to get fired or they're just going to just cut ties with me entirely. I'm pretty sure of it.
Oh, okay.
It was a great show from start to finish.
Still had another match.
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, I'm just saying with the Second City.
I had forgotten. Please continue.
Yeah,
I'm cutting people off tonight.
No, that's fine.
Accidentally.
It's an accident.
I was there. I should remember it, but
Yeah, we went out of order. We kind of went backwards.
I went backwards. That's what I do.
But ultimately, Joey Dalton was successful in defending his championship against a returning Diesel Toxic.
It was good to see Diesel Tracks again. He'd been gone a while. He fought hard.
Yes, he did.
Joey Dalton fought harder. Did I see Leo Flair there?
Yes, he did.
What was he in?
He was in the
Scramble match. He already told you that.
we talked about that.
I missed
because
it.
we went in reverse.
I went in reverse. But it was nice to see Leo. We had some old friends back at the show, which was nice. And the crowd, very spirited, very full. Not many chairs to be had. In fact, they were putting up more chairs. There were so many people.
Well, that's good. That's great.
It is great.
So IPW, it's where the fun happens. And the cool thing is how many promotions outside of IPW had titles defended? Rocket Pro, C3, Paragon brought his Emerge title. What was the other one? There's one more non-IPW title, right? Or is it just the three?
No, just that were actually defended
Yeah.
there. That they were just those three right then. And
Those are three
all
huge,
heavyweight. They're all
big belt champions from big promotions.
Yes.
And the new Rachel's pretty nice. It's a pretty impressive belt, no doubt about it. So that's IPW. And when's the next IPW? It's the last Sunday in the month of August, correct?
Correct.
So that's like Labor Day week, or Labor Day weekend, right?
We'll see what happens based on what took place with Reprisal. We will see what takes place because I am supposed to have a meeting with the VFW to make sure everything is fair and equal for all parties involved. As far as the schedule is concerned, it's supposed to be Sunday, October 25th, but we'll see.
So August 25th, Sunday, hopefully the next IPW show because it's fun. You know, it's cool to have a place where other companies will let their belts be defended. I mean, that's fairly unique. It doesn't happen all over the place. It happens some places, but not that many at one time. That's
No. Never heard that.
in Richmond Park. You know who else was there? Marche. Marche was there and he was helping people.
Well, that's good.
Where were you? Not there helping people.
I was sabbatical.
That's
And I was
trying to
and
get
I
a
was
battle royal.
and I was still and I actually did I watch it again Sunday? Yeah, I watched Deadpool One World Run again. But this time I watched it from the comfort of my house. But you know, so
you got those connections.
hey, I got it like that.
How much did you love the movie though?
Immensely.
Wasn't it?
But I think what happened at Comic-Con, I loved even more. So
Well, that was a pretty cool thing. And if they follow the story that's based on, that'll be some pretty cool shit.
but here's the thing, we don't know. And honestly, I don't care. Just like wrestling, I'm here to be entertained. That's it. So if you make it entertaining, I'm going regardless. I don't care. I'm going. So you've got my money. Marvel has my money. So
about this thing that you guys are saying that happened at Comic-Con, or we just leave it in the air?
But we're trying to be spoiler friendly.
No, for what? It's out there by now.
Yeah,
Right? I mean, Robert Downey Jr. is now Victor Von Doom. You know, and there, of course, there's people that are saying why, there are people saying no, there are people that are cheering. You know, again, just go for the ride. Just go for the ride. I mean, you don't know what's gonna happen. The script isn't even written yet. So wait.
Just
and
go with the flow.
And let's be honest, Marvel had to do something after Majors was let go.
Jonathan Majors.
Yeah.
You know, so I mean,
they did a complete 180 from Kang. So
but it was either get someone else or
Pivot.
pivot. And I love the way that they just decided to pivot. I mean, you know,
He opened the checkbook, boy. You know, that was a big check. That was a big check.
I mean, but the rumors have been out there for a while that he was coming
That's
back.
still a big check.
So
The check was so big that he appeared live at Comic-Con. That's how big the check was.
no, but that's
We're
what
paying this money, but you got to come out.
that's the only thing that I hate, that we as Chicago, we really don't get those big things like that. You know,
Stars don't live in Chicago. They live in Los
no,
Angeles.
but like you would love to see something like that here.
Maybe
You
when
know,
the Bears
but
build a
now
stadium, they'll do it there.
you know, now it's always well, for years it's always been, you know, you go to San Diego Comic-Con. You just have to.
Bears Stadium, if you build it, they will come.
Ain't nobody going there.
WrestleMania will go there. You bet that you
Yeah,
bet
WrestleMania will go there,
let the
but
hell
that ain't
go
got
there.
nothing to do with no Comic-Con.
Super Bowl gonna go there.
That's
Comic-Con
about
can
it.
go
But
there.
the Bears won't be playing.
Well, I'm not saying they will. I'm just saying that the shit's gonna happen there. Because it's gonna be like a big first class stadium. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. I
We'll
was
see.
in Wisconsin this past Saturday at Frontline Pro, and you've seen my problems with Creator Ben, right?
Of course.
Creator Ben got his ass kicked and lost his title. Oh, it was glorious. Captain America, Ben Evenson, kicked his ass from pillar to post. He had to be carried out of the ring with ice from the ref, New Japan style. Got his ass kicked.
So he came on here and talked all that shit essentially
And lost his belt, and the Rapture is in shambles. Matter of fact, you know, Frontline Pro this past Saturday was kind of like Megaforce from the 80s. Remember that movie Megaforce with Barry Bostwick? He played Ace,
No.
the guy with the flying motorcycle. At the end of that, he
You
knocks
just
on
said Barry Bostwick.
he knocks on Duke's tank, and he knocks on Duke, comes up and says, "Hey," he says, "Hi, Duke. I just want to say goodbye and remind you that the good guys always win, even in the 80s." You should look that up on social media. It's very fun. But anyway, the point is, all the good guys won. Kid Latin, the big guy, beat the Windy City Devils for the Frontline Pro Tag Championships. I'm not sorry. Rita Atlas achieved his dream of becoming the battle champion, and Ben Evenson takes the big prize and dethrones the Creator. What a great night. And Swoggle was amazing. Bit Muggsy James right in the ass. Muggsy James had to cheat to beat Swoggle. That's how crazy that shit got.
Yet somehow people are wondering why he punched PX in the face.
He had a bad weekend, but you don't need to punch PX in the face because Swoggle bit you in the ass.
You get bit in the ass and see if you're in a happy mood.
Well, he had 24 hours to figure that shit out.
How long is the drive from Frontline back to your place?
4.5 hours.
How long do you think it took him to sit on his ass while having a chunk taken out?
He might have been laying down in the back. Someone else was driving him.
I'm sure. I know how Muggsy travels. So I'm sure there was no room for him to lay down.
We're speculating here. You're
I'm
speculating on the condition of Muggsy's ass on a trip.
But no, we're more understanding why he punched PX in the face.
So you're going to say that was justified that he punched. Well, I mean, maybe he didn't punch PX. Maybe he punched Top Fan, and that would be completely justifiable.
Sorry for getting sidetracked. It was just something.
Tomatoes.
Anyway, I had a great episode of Frontline. Crossfire, it'll be out. It's good. Things are now right in the universe, and I'm very excited. We have a short turnaround this month. We will be back in Marshfield for Hold the Line on August 10th. So that's a week. I get this weekend off, and then I'm back to Wisconsin on the 10th. But I'm happier because ding dong, the bitch is dead. So that was Frontline in a nutshell. I also saw some groovy new tag teams, which was really cool. The Crucible, they fought, and they were pretty impressive.
Who do they consist of?
Their names are not in my mind right now. I'll have to look them up, but I'm sorry, I don't have that information on hand, but I know they were great. They're part of Draven Striker's crew, which is good. What were their names?
You don't know. I don't know.
I have the script somewhere, but I don't. Anyway, it was amazing. Great fight. Frontline Pro bringing in some really, really impressive talent, and it's just going to get bigger and better as the years go on, as we lead into November with Kurt Angle. Swaggle's back next month. The Godfather in December. So Frontline is doing great work. The creator is dead, but the board that runs Frontline is doing great work. And I look forward to Hold the Line. It's going to be an amazing show. Can't wait to get back up there, even though the drive is long. It's well worth it. So if you can come out to Marshfield, hell, I'll drive you if you give me enough notice, but that's neither here nor there. Next week on this show, we will have the GOAT of Menendez, and our subject will not be wrestling. It will not be roller derby. It will be math. We are going to be an all mathematics episode of the Power Hour. I got my new math book. I'm ready to talk about it. No, you're going to be there. I don't want to hear the shit. I don't want to hear the shit.
I'm gonna be absent.
You're going to be talking about math.
No,
Math.
the one subject I hated has always been
But I'm
math.
telling you,
No.
his principles of math are going to fucking kill you.
I'm
I'm
straight.
telling-
I'm straight. Because guess what? The only math I need to know, how many hours I work, how much I get paid. That's it. It
We're gonna
does
talk
that
about-
balance.
We're going to
That's
talk
it.
about we're going to talk about the geometry and the weight of breasts. Math.
No.
Not a
You're
math
not
you
getting-
wanted in high school, Red. It's the kind
You're
of math.
not getting.
There's a
You're
book,
not
man.
getting me in
Red,
trouble.
there's a book. The GOAT is wise.
You're not getting me in trouble. No.
Red,
No.
trust me.
No.
Trust
I'm
me.
straight. I'm straight. No, you're not getting me in trouble. No.
Trust me.
No.
It'd be good. It's gonna be.
I'm like the Isley's brothers right now. Nothing but smooth sailing.
It's gonna be good. I'm telling you, it's math like you've never seen before in your life. Anyway, that's next week. Thanks for watching. Thanks to the Flow guys. We appreciated having them, and we will see you all next week. Thanks to Andy. Thanks to everybody at Feast of the Goat Queen and Rogue Wrestling Entertainment. For Rion, I'm Steve. That's C Red. We'll see you back again.